All right, let's get back to this. So let's see, a quick summary of where we're at. We are upgrading elm-html-test for Elm 0.19. We are down to the final cleanup steps before we are ready to publish this thing. And specifically, tonight we've been working on cleaning up some to-dos, basically finding untested code and deciding whether we can remove it or if we need to backfill some tests. We've added some tests for markdown nodes, custom nodes. We've removed some unnecessary code around event handling, and removed a bunch of outdated comments. So let's see. So we were working through this commit kind of from the top to bottom, checking for to-dos. And okay, this is the file basically that we just finished. So we removed those unused encoders. That was an unnecessary comment. This is an encoder, so we removed that. That custom nodes we added tests for. Same for markdown nodes. Decoding styles we confirmed is tested. Attributes we confirmed is tested. This we dug into the native code and found that this branch of code isn't actually used because of the way the events are dealt with. Decode options, that also went away. And this is a valid to-do that is staying there. And so is that. Okay, that's a file we already checked. Ooh, okay, great. So that looks like that's the last one. Ooh, so we are done with that step. I guess we can commit that in our to-do list. Check off completed to-dos. So the final stuff, down to the final steps here. Or I guess the real final step will be getting a code review on this, but I think everyone who cares has kind of been following along, so that shouldn't be too much of a deal. And we have a pretty good CI for this now, and through this whole process, we've been adding, we've been covering some more of the gaps in the test suite here, so I think we're in pretty good shape overall. So one question was about reorganizing and renaming some of the modules. We did some of that already. Specifically, these test modules used to be all top-level things. I guess we could rename some more of this, like example app. Let's see, where is this used? This is test example. Yeah, and this is all about test HTML. So I think we could move this. Let's move these real quick. So test example is going to go to the test HTML folder. This, I guess let's call this example app test. And we can also move example app into there as well. And we'll fix up these module names. This is test HTML example app. And this is test HTML example app tests. Whoops, tests is plural here. And then up here, test example is now example app tests. And where is that? Example, test example. There we go. Okay, so that should pass. Oh, okay, we've got an import to fix up. Example app is now, ooh, that's the whole path name, test HTML example app. And what did we do wrong here? has a typo in the module name. It says this. Oh, we didn't save that file, apparently. Okay, there we go. Okay, that looks good. So we've just renamed some files here. Great. Rename example, or what was that even called? Its status, that was test example. Test example to now be test HTML example app test. Great. What else is in here? This stuff is stuff that previously existed in Elm Exploration's test. Helpers, this is not at all related to the HTML testing, so that can stay. Main, that's a test suite thing. Runner tests, seed tests. Okay. So I think all the tests that we pulled in from the elm-html-test package and other related packages is all now in this test HTML folder. So the tests are organized. Let's see. I guess for the rest of the code, a lot of this stuff is stuff we brought in. So here's HTML inert. Okay, that's lazy list. That's used for shrinking. So this folder, elm-html, and this folder, HTML inert, I feel like can be reorganized a little bit. Yeah, okay, and everything's from those packages. All of these are not related to elm-html-test. Yeah, so let's do that cleanup. Well, let's just move this whole folder inside of test HTML, and maybe even inside internal. I guess let's do that. Let's move this whole thing into test HTML internal. And then let's do a grand search and replace. So we'll have import, I guess just elm-html anything dot import. Yeah, okay, let's do this with just the imports. And any code that refers to it, we'll add an alias if we need it. Then we'll replace this with import test HTML internal.elm-html. Yeah, okay. So this is not like the perfect organization, but this will at least, like, because this package does more than just the HTML testing, this will at least put all the HTML testing stuff into a single folder, which I think will be helpful. And if people want to reorganize this more in the future, that is going to be perfectly fine by me. All right, so what is going on here? Test HTML, okay, it's looking for this. And it should be test HTML internal elm-html query. I guess the other problem is that we haven't updated the module names. Maybe that's the problem. So if we have module that anywhere, we can replace that also. Let's run this search. Do that replace and see if that fixes that problem. No, it doesn't. Okay. So I feel like I'm missing something extremely obvious here. Import test HTML internal elm-html query. So that should be in source test HTML internal. Oh, there's no internal there. Oh, okay, so this internal is, where is that? Oh, I see. That internal folder is not inside of HTML. I see. Okay. My mistake. I was just confused about the indentation in this sidebar. So we'll add an internal folder here. This will go there. Okay, and that should give us what we want. Okay, and now line 57. Okay. elm-html internal types. So I guess we can just alias this to internal types. And probably similar things for most of these. Query. I guess we'll call this elm-html query to distinguish it from the test HTML query module, which is typically imported as query. And then elm-html.query.anything should be replaced with elm-html query as one word. Okay, do that. Oh, whoops, replaced one too many places. All right, line 222. This we will just call internal types. We'll expose that as internal types. And wherever we have elm-html internal types dot something else, I guess, we will, okay, only two of those, so we will just replace both of those. Okay, looks like that compiled, so this might be good. All right, and then we need to format all these files. I guess because of this, whoops, because of the search and replace, it VS Code didn't run the formatter on everything. All right, that is looking good. So all that stuff we can stage. Then we just renamed some stuff. Here's all the files we moved. Here's just some more search and replace stuff. And same thing there. Okay, so we moved elm-html to test HTML internal.elm-html, which at least puts it in a nicer place. It's definitely not the greatest module name, and maybe some of that could all be restructured, but that is sufficient for the purposes that I care about tonight. Let's see, and one more module, inert. This I think should just go into HTML internal. Then we can kill this HTML folder. And then the only other HTML related stuff that's not inside of test HTML now is this kernel code, which we aren't actually allowed to structure that any further. So that is just fine. Let's see, so inert now becomes this now becomes HTML dot, oh no, test.html.internal.inert. All right, so can I replace just some of these? Replace that, replace that, replace this, replace that, replace the import, and this one, just take me to this file, selector. This I just want to import as inert rather than typing that whole thing. All right, let's format that. Have I tried GitUp? I have. I forget which one that is. Oh, is that the like super fast one that's optimized? Yeah, I've tried this. My problem with GitUp is that yeah, this view that they have here with all the branches, like at work we have like, well, we've got 30 people working on the same repository, and we have maybe like 300 active branches sometimes, and it's just a huge mess. I feel like this view does not work that well on repositories with lots of contributors all having branches together. Anyway, I've been using this one called Fork, which I just found maybe a month ago, and it's free. Is it open source? I'm not sure if it's open source or not, but it's much faster than some of the other ones I've tried, like Git Kraken is like extremely slow on large repositories, and I really like, the big thing for me is being able to stage individual lines. Like in the past, I've just used git add-p to stage individual hunks, and sometimes I would even like edit the hunks when staging them interactively. So I really like this feature. I don't know if GitUp has something like that. I should check it out sometime again, maybe. But I've been really happy with Fork as like a standard adding thing, although I'm like most familiar with using the command line. I still use that a lot over the GUIs. Let's see, so we renamed that and did all that. We just added the formatting and double check that our tests pass. That one's good. That one's good. Oops. Okay, perfect. And we just renamed, or I guess we moved html.inert to test html-internal.inert. Okay, so that takes care of that one. Add support and test for namespaced attributes and namespaced nodes. Yeah, so I think after I wrote these, we discovered that that actually wasn't supported in Elm-18. Because we found an issue about that. elm-html-test. Issues. Namespace. Yeah, surprising behavior. Okay. Yeah, so basically like some of the lower internal levels support namespaces, but then at the higher levels, the Elm test, like the queries and stuff, don't actually use the namespaces. So this is an open issue and not something that we are going to fix now. So I think we are done. We can remove this to-do list rm to do. And we're done with all of these. Let's see. It's possible to view only your branches. Oh, cool. Well, maybe let's download this real quick and check it out. Where do we download? Actually, I might even have it installed already on this machine. Where is it? Okay, there you are. Open workspace. Where are we? We are in test, I guess. Oh, is this like a little tutorial? Lets us instantly view branch and commit operations. We can edit. Oh yeah, it does like lots of rewrite stuff really easily, right? Okay, and there's our origin. Here's the stuff we did since the break. I actually pushed while we were on break. Let's see. Okay, so does this let me stage? Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is what I don't like. I want to be able to stage just parts, like subsections of hunks, which Fork lets me do that. Like I can select like, okay, just stage these lines of removal. Oh, except it doesn't seem to work when the whole file is deleted. But if we have an edited file, it lets me just select a subset of lines and stage only certain lines. Which, maybe this does it too if we edit something. Let's check that real quick. Okay, so in Fork, we could like stage just these two lines if we wanted. And can we do that in GitHub? Just that line? Looks like no. Maybe there's some options for it. You can select lines and hit enter. Oh. Like this. Select lines, enter. Nope, that that did not do it. Unstaged file. Maybe it's because this menu thing is up. Commit, it has an advanced mode and simple mode. Oh, I see. Okay, so I must want advanced mode. How do I turn that on? Advanced. External diff. Okay, I want P4 merge, please. Appearance, diff layout, commits, use simple mode. Oh, okay, it tells you that and then it puts you in advanced mode right away. Nope. You can select lines and hit enter in GitHub with numbers. Oh, like select it here. Oh, I see. Interesting. Oh, there we go, stage lines. Oh, okay. That is nice. I had no way of knowing that. And actually, I had the same problem when I first used Fork. But they have this nice little feedback button. So the first day I downloaded, I sent them 4 issues, and 3 of them they were like, oh, well, you just do this, just select it and you can stage. So apparently GitHub does the same thing if you know how to use it. Okay, well that's cool. Let's try it out then. So we want to unstage this, then we want to discard file changes, and then we are staging the deletion of to-do. All right, remove to-do.md. Everything is done. done with you. All right, I guess we're pushing now. And where are we at? So we're done with that. I guess there's issues in the GitHub repo that'll need to be transferred over. But apart from that, I think we're done here. Pull in elm-html-test. Done. I guess I'm still the assignee. And CI is building. Looks like it just passed. Or no, it's still in progress. Oh, okay. I just needed to reload. Elm explorations test. Yeah, here we go. Great. So I guess that's that. There was a lot of changes in here, so I guess like Richard's been working on this or on other Elm 19 stuff at work, so maybe he'll have some time to give this a quick review tomorrow and get this merged. But I think everything is looking good. There seems like there's a reasonable test suite. There's maybe a couple things that don't have test coverage, which there's a small possibility a couple small things might be broken, but overall I think this is good. Anything that does break deserves to have some tests added anyway, so I'm not too worried about some small edge cases that might not have got it converted over correctly, but I think we were pretty thorough in putting to-dos and tracking all the places where we weren't quite sure about the code and revisiting it here at the end. So I think we are good to go. So that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. Let's see if anyone else is streaming code online right now. Let's see. Looks like this guy Flip Switch is working on his Metroidvania game, like a cute little indie game that's kind of like a mix between Metroid, Zelda, and Mario is like the way he describes it. So his stream's pretty chill. He's usually seems to be just kind of in work mode, but I'm gonna give him a raid just for the few of you that are hanging out. And thanks for coming by the chat. Hey Capella, yeah. Thanks for hanging out and chatting a bit. And yeah, hopefully this will help unblock you guys at work, or unblock you all at work. Let's see. Tests should be finishing up. Branches, pull requests. Travis seems to like start 2 builds for everything when there's pull requests. I guess it's the branches one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this passed. Great. Well, this has certainly been an extended adventure. I'm not sure what, like, I'm definitely going to be continuing roughly weekly streams, maybe even twice certain weeks for the reasonably foreseeable future. So I'm not quite sure what'll be next. There's some work on Elm format, which will be some Haskell programming work. I want to get Elm format to a 1.0 release, so I might do some of that on stream. There's Elm program tests, which I need to upgrade for Elm 19, which should be straightforward now that elm-html-test is done. But there's also some more features that I need to add for Elm program test, which is basically like kind of a higher level API to do integration tests in Elm in a more like helpful way than just elm-html-test gives you by itself. I guess there's also some planned work of adding the ability to test commands and tasks and things like that that needs to get added to Elm's Explorations test, which is basically the Elm testable package that I wrote in Elm 18, which was never actually published because there was some native code, but we've kind of distilled down the core of it that is needed as kernel code. So I guess there's some work to put that extra command and task stuff into Elm Explorations test. I am not sure if I'm going to do that on stream or not, because this upgrade for elm-html-test was kind of a big project. So I would like to do something a bit more fun and more web devy in future streams. But yeah, let me know on Twitter if anyone is interested in seeing particular stuff. And I'm going to call it a night. So thanks for hanging out. I will probably be doing my next stream on the weekend, probably Saturday morning again this week. So come hang out then if you want. If anybody's working on cool projects, come hang out on Saturday and we can do some code. So thanks. I will see y'all later. And if you want to have some more chill, or if you want to watch some chill indie development streaming, hang on and we will go on a quick raid in just a minute. So thanks. Have a good night, y'all.